What's going on, everyone? Alex Miller from the Eagle, joined by College Station first-year head coach Stoney Pryor. Coach, it's good to see you.
It's good to be here, Alex.
Yeah, you know, um, this being your first season as the head coach, obviously you're no stranger to the Cougar program. How have the last few months been as you've stepped into the head coaching role?
There's a lot of stuff to learn. There's a lot of things that I didn't know that went on, or that I kind of knew that went on, but now I'm obviously a lot more involved in it. But it's fantastic. I mean, we have great coaches, we have great staff, we have great students and parents, and so it's been a joy to go through this transition and to learn these things and to work with the puzzle a little bit differently than I have.
You know, when you look back on how it all went down, how much did it mean to you that, College Station ISD wanted to stay internal and keep things within the program?
So I thought that was a great blessing. I thought it was great affirmation to me personally. Obviously, I've been at College Station High School a long time, but my entire career has been in College Station ISD, and so for that transition to occur the way it did was affirming to me, but I think it was also validating to all of our coaches, because it was a statement of what we've done and what we've built is what we want, and it's the way we want to do things, and it's the product that we want to have, and obviously we want to win more championships and to continue to put out athletes of high character and high caliber people. But for the school administration and the school board to basically give a stamp of approval on what we've done to continue that was fantastic for all of us.
You know, when it comes to the team itself and moving forward, how much does it help the guys that, they are familiar with pretty much all their I know you've had to make a few hires, but for the most part, things have relatively stayed similar.
I think that continuity in a high school staff is really a crucial piece of success that's often overlooked. And obviously we have turnover and coaches changes that occur, but for students to have some stability in their expectations, in the schemes, in the culture and the climate of the school, as well as for the coaches to have that and that long-term buy-in. We did hire 6 new football coaches, but several of those guys already had connections to our program and understood what we've got going on and wanted to be a part of that and add to that. So I think that continuity is great for everybody. It's great for the community. It's great for our students, for our school system. It's really a fantastic situation.
When you look back at last year, how special was that run? And, coming up short, how have you maybe used that as motivation throughout this offseason?
A very special year. Obviously, anytime you can go deep in the playoffs, it's unique and memorable and things that we'll all cherish for a long time. And of course, going to the state championship game and losing in the heartbreaking manner, of course, that it was is something that motivates all of us to do better. But also just understanding from a coaching aspect as well as a player aspect what a really long season looks like. That our goal is not to peak at the first week of November, but to continue to be improving, to make sure that we've designed our practices in a way that we're going to be healthy as long as possible. I mean, there's a lot of physicality over a course of an entire semester. And so having the firsthand experience with that as players and as coaches to be able to relate that to the new players and the new coaches that are on is pretty valuable and pretty hard to quantify.
You guys graduated a pretty special senior class. What kind of impact did they make on the program for you guys? And how have you seen some of the younger guys that are getting older take from what they instilled within the program as players?
So I think all good programs stand on the shoulders of the giants before them, and ours is no exception to that. That what happens is good players elevate sort of the very basic nature of what we're going to do. And so they've pushed that foundation higher, they've pushed those standards higher, and they leave, but the standards are still where they left them. And so that challenges everybody to do better, to work harder. The culture is that we're always going to finish with a +2 burst through a line or whatever it happens to be, so that's just the common expectation. And what seemed exceptional before becomes the routine now, and we can push the exceptional up another notch. And I think that's the legacy that our seniors collectively would like to leave in their position with their team, in the locker room, in the weight room, on the field, is just a continual improvement of everything we do. because they're a part of that, a big part of that.
Well, when you look at the team that you have coming this year, a lot of key guys coming back still. Let's start with the offense. Who has really emerged as some guys that you see as being key contributors for your team this fall?
Sure. So obviously Marquise is a running back, fantastic running back last year, and definitely going to be a guy that other teams have to take notice of and figure out how they're going to handle, and a guy that we will use, of course, to get good running yards. We'll also try some other ways of getting him the ball, and of course using him as a decoy as well to make options easier for other guys. Offensive line, we've got several guys on the offensive line who are back. Jake Utley's back, and Ben Sherman. We got some guys that can do a great job. I said Ben Sherman. Not Ben Sherman, so don't quote me on that part.
You're good.
That's an older player. Sherman, Utley, several guys on the O-line just coming back. Tate coming back with some expertise and some experience in that regard that can hold down the fort and teach those new guys. You know, we have a lot of new players in the perimeter. Jackson Verdugo is back as a wideout, and he's a big target and does a fantastic job. He'll be a sophomore. But some other receivers in the quarterback position are still things that we're competing with, and guys working hard in that role.
You know, let's talk about Marquise for a minute. What makes him such a special runner and player just in general, and how would you describe him?
He's explosive, and he's strong, and he's got great vision. So I think the combination of those things, and of course he's got other attributes as well. He does a good job hanging on to the ball. He understands what we're trying to do, so he has a good idea of where to run. But his explosiveness, his evasiveness, and his vision make him hard to tackle and hard to really get a solid pop on, because he's finding creases, and our offensive line does a great job of holding blocks and creating seams for him to run through, and he sees those, and like I said, he understands the system or the play the way we're trying to design it, so he knows where to go.
You know, at quarterback, you're trying to replace Jet Huff, 3-year starter. Who are some of the guys again that are, you know, still vying for that spot, and what you've seen from them throughout the spring and into the summer?
Sure. So Paul Padron played the backup role last season. Arrington Maiden was our JV quarterback, and Jackson Ingram is a move-in quarterback. All three of those guys bring different skill sets to the table, and they are competing well for that position. And I think that those things work out as the fall ball gets started and we go through those two-a-days. But really, of course, at the quarterback position, we're looking for leadership and production. And the production comes from understanding the system and having the great skill set to go with that, and for us to utilize those skill sets. So all three of those guys bring different dynamics and experience to that.
So I got to ask you the hard-hitting question right now. Are you still going to be wearing the yellow shirt?
I think the yellow shirt's got to stay. I'm not sure if I'd know what to do, or if anybody would know I was there if I didn't come out in the yellow shirt. You know, our belief is that going fast is a huge asset. We practice really, really fast. We want to play really, really fast. We want to dictate the speed of the game, and everything that we can do to make it just a little bit faster, we want to try it. And so the idea with the yellow shirt, I kind of just did it one game. I just came out with the yellow shirt on and went that way. And then after the game, asked the kids about it, and a couple weeks later did it again and said, you know, does that help? Is it silly? Is it helpful? And to a person, they said, Coach, we can find you so much easier. Not that it was hard before, it's just so much easier, and it lets us get that signal going quicker, lets us move on to the next play quicker. And of course, the opponent can see me quicker as well, but we think if we're going very fast between the time the play is signaled and the ball is snapped, that it's hard for the defense to make adjustments based on what they think they see me signal.
Sure. You know, I want to go back to the run game for a second. How have you guys been able to just execute the run game in y'all's system so well over the years?
You know, obviously we've been blessed with good players, and I think that our coaches have done a great job of teaching what we want to do in the run game, so they understand what we're asking of them. And then I think part of that, you know, as coaches, sometimes we have these wild ideas or great plays that we saw on Saturday afternoon or on Twitter or wherever it is, and we kind of want to do that because it looked great when Auburn did it or when Alabama did it, and then I think some wisdom comes in when we say, that did look great, and that fits with what they do, but it doesn't necessarily fit with what we do. So let's keep what we do, and be great at that. And I think that an often overlooked thing in football is simplicity. I mean, football is not a complicated game. We want to take the ball and run it past their end zone, and they want us to keep us from doing it. And then we flip and do it again. And then we try to get special teams in there and see how we can utilize that. And so if we can figure out ways that move the football forward, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be fancy. It's fun when it's fun, but it's fun to score and it's fun to win.
I don't want to spoil your game plan, but is there a good chance you're going to be running power run the first play of the season?
Power has been a great play for us, and our kids understand it. And when you understand your job and you know what your role is, then there's a good chance you can be successful at that. And that of course, breeds confidence in the kids, which allows us to be more successful in other stuff that we try.
As talented as you guys are on offense, you've got some playmakers coming back on defense as well. What do you really see maybe the strong suit of that side of the ball being for you guys this year?
We do have some experience. We graduated guys on both sides of the ball, but we've got some solid players coming back on the defensive side of the ball who are not just physical leaders as far as their play, but they're also leaders in the locker room and in the weight room and on through our summer workouts. And I think that's really going to put our defense in a great position, which of course puts the Cougars in a great position. But that experience, guys that have some speed kills, is fantastic. But our fast guys also have some size and some strength, and bring a pop behind it when they hit you. And so I think that's a huge asset of our defense. I expect our defense to be very solid.
So, last year you guys finally get through the gauntlet of Region 2, and now the UIL has moved you over to Region 3. What do you make of the latest realignment for you guys and just kind of the district that was given?
So I think we have a solid district. I think it's going to be a good competitive district. Obviously, a couple of those teams we've played in the playoffs before. I think it'll be fun for the community to get back playing Consol again and get that rivalry rekindled, because there is a rivalry there whether we're playing each other or not. So for that game to occur, I think the stadium, of course, will be just electric that night. But what we need to do is win the game that we're playing that week. And we talked about the same thing last year when people want to look at the gauntlet of Region 2, and it was. I mean, there are a lot of really talented teams, but you don't have to beat all of them, and you don't have to beat all of them tonight. You beat one of them, whoever the bracket lines up for us, and we'll get a game plan for that team and go attack that ball game.
When you were trying to figure out maybe where they were going to send you, was the North Austin region a strong possibility that you saw coming?
That was not a strong possibility that I saw coming, to be honest with you. And even going that way, the way it shook out was not exactly how I saw it. But like I said, there's some excitement to play some new teams, some differences. Having the Consol rivalry start up again will be fun, and going to play just a different set of stadiums, a different set of opponents with a little bit different schemes. Will be great. And it wasn't something we saw coming, or I saw coming.
Well, I'm sure you guys are going to be familiar driving down Highway 79. I think Coach Fedora said he would too. Maybe you guys can trade where's a good place to stop for gas or something.
Yes, we absolutely. I stop in Milano a lot. Very familiar with that gas station there, and it's great. I hope we get a lot of fans traveling to see those games as well, because that is really a special part of high school athletics, is getting the community involved, to getting the fans involved, and it's special, of course, for the players to have that atmosphere. But really, I think it builds the community that a high school can build when they can rally around the football team and the band and the cheerleaders and the other sports that go on as well. And you guys have a pretty solid non-district slate too. How can that help prepare you guys for down the road as well? Sure. Our desire has always been to play teams that are going to make us better, and our scrimmage schedule and our non-district schedule is definitely one that's going to do that. Starting out with the regular season in Allen against Lovejoy, they're a very talented program and is going to be a good marker for where we are as a program. And then, going through our non-district is really, it's a very tough non-district schedule. And I think that's great because what we want to do, as coaches in our non-district is find what we're really good at and find what we've got to work on. And some of what we have to work on, maybe it's stuff we need to quit doing, and some of it's just we need to concentrate on that. And you get better going through the fire. You get forged going through the fire. We fully expect to have a target on our backs. I mean, obviously, when you play a team that went to the state championship last year, other teams want to see where they're at and test their mettle against us. And so that's a good challenge for us to rise to, that everybody will be gunning for us. And so let's go. Let's step up and see where we're at and lay it on the line.
All right, I'll leave you with this. What do you feel like this team can accomplish, and what gives you confidence that y'all can make another deep run?
I think confidence is a big part of that. I think culture and standards and expectation are a big part of that. And I think that we've got experience with our players and with our coaches to give us a good chance to be successful. I think athletics and high school athletics in particular, sometimes it comes down to a goofy something in a game. But to put yourself in a position to win, to be successful, to come out on top, that's where we want to be. And I think that our tradition, not that you get there on tradition, but we get our work habits, we get our work ethics, we get our confidence, we get our stability, that we're not getting too high when things go great and too down when things go rough, because we'll have things that go great and things that go rough. But to be very steady in what we're doing with a long-term game plan of being successful at the end of the season, which starts at the end of the district play and on into the postseason as well.
All right, that's Stoney Pryor. He's the head coach of the College Station Cougars. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Alex.